David Adawal was one of the richest men in the country, a billionaire with sprawling mansions, luxury cars, and influence that could move mountains. But all the wealth in the world could not bring him what he truly desired: a wife who would love him for who he was, not for the riches that surrounded him. Sitting in his luxurious study, the light streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows, David leaned back in his chair, deep in thought. His mother, Mama Adawal, a wise and loving woman in her 70s, walked in with her signature calm presence. She wore a modest red gown, her headscarf neatly tied, a stark contrast to the extravagance of the mansion. "David, my son," she said, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Why do you look so troubled? What is it that weighs so heavily on your heart?" David sighed, running a hand over his neatly cropped hair. "Mama, I've seen too many women who only care about my money. How can I find someone who truly loves me for who I am? Someone with a good heart?" Mama Adawal smiled knowingly, her wrinkles deepening with the warmth of her expression. "If you want to find a good woman, you must test their character, my son. We'll create a situation where their true nature will be revealed." David looked at her, intrigued. "What do you have in mind, Mama?" Her idea was bold yet simple. She would disguise herself as a housemaid in his mansion, and David would invite women he was considering for marriage. They would observe how each woman treated Mama Adawal, believing her to be a mere servant. "A kind heart reveals itself in how one treats the powerless," she said. David hesitated. "Mama, you've lived a life of dignity. Are you sure you want to do this?" "For your happiness, David," she said firmly. "I'll do anything." The next week, the first woman arrived. Olivia was a stunning model, her long, straightened hair flowing down her back as she stepped out of a sleek black car in a vibrant blue strapless short gown that hugged her figure. She walked into the mansion with the confidence of someone who had already claimed the world. David greeted her warmly, and Olivia wasted no time marveling at the grandeur of the house. "Wow, David, this place is incredible. You must throw so many parties here," she said, her eyes darting from the chandeliers to the gold-accented furniture. Mama Adawal, now dressed in a plain red maid's uniform, entered the room carrying a tray of drinks. She bowed slightly, saying, "Would you like some refreshments, ma'am?" Olivia barely glanced at her. "Leave it on the table," she said dismissively, waving her hand. As Mama Adawal set the tray down, her hands trembling slightly, Olivia added, "And next time be quicker about it." David's jaw tightened, but he said nothing, choosing to observe. Later, during dinner, Mama Adawal accidentally spilled a few drops of soup on the table while serving Olivia. The young woman recoiled dramatically, her expression turning into a glare. "Are you serious?" Olivia snapped. "Do you even know how to serve? David, why do you keep such incompetent help?" Mama Adawal apologized softly, bowing her head. Olivia turned to David, leaning closer to him. "You should fire her. She's too old and clumsy. I can recommend a good agency for proper staff." David glanced at his mother, who silently picked up the tray and retreated to the kitchen. The hurt in her eyes was unmistakable, though she said nothing. As the evening ended, Olivia leaned into David, her voice dripping with sweetness. "I think we could be great together, David. You need someone who matches your status." David escorted her to her car, his expression unreadable. "Thank you for coming, Olivia," he said simply before closing the car door. That night, as Mama Adawal folded laundry in her small servants' quarters, David came to see her. "Mama, are you all right?" he asked gently. She looked up, her smile weary but resilient. "I'm fine, my son, but she is not the woman for you." David nodded. "I see that now. Her beauty means nothing." The following week, Clara arrived. She was a successful businesswoman in her early 30s, tall and striking, with dark skin that glowed under the mansion's golden lights. Her dreadlocks were styled into an elegant high bun, and she wore a bold pink strapless short gown that screamed confidence. Clara was everything society admired: intelligent, powerful, and charismatic. She entered the mansion with a confident stride, her heels clicking against the marble floor. "David!" she exclaimed, her voice commanding attention. "This place is gorgeous, but of course I wouldn't expect less from someone like you." David welcomed her with his usual charm, but kept a watchful eye. As they walked into the sitting room, Mama Adawal entered quietly, dressed in her plain red uniform. She carried a jug of water, her hands slightly shaky. Good evening, ma'am. Would you like something to drink? Mama Adawal asked with her characteristic humility. Clara turned her head slowly, her expression one of annoyance. Is it really that hard to pour water without shaking? She said, snatching the jug from Mama Adawal's hands. As she poured herself a glass, a few drops spilled onto her expensive handbag. Her face darkened instantly. Are you blind? Do you know how much this bag costs? Clara snapped, throwing the glass down onto the table. David, you need to fire this woman. She's clearly incompetent. David's face tightened, but he remained silent, letting the scene unfold. Mama Adawal apologized softly, bending to wipe the spilled water. Clara, however, wasn't done. She grabbed the jug and splashed the remaining water onto Mama Adawal's hands, her voice sharp. Maybe this will teach you to be careful next time. Mama Adawal gasped in pain, but remained composed. David could no longer hold back. Clara, that's enough, he shouted, his voice echoing through the room. Clara folded her arms unfazed. David, I'm just saying what needs to be said. You're a billionaire. You deserve better staff. David's disappointment was clear as he escorted Clara to the door. Thank you for coming, Clara. I think we've seen enough of each other. The following week, Emily arrived. She was unlike the others, petite, with dark brown skin that radiated warmth. Emily was a 25-year-old orphan who ran a small food delivery business to make ends meet. She wore a simple green dress, her natural hair styled into a puff. When she stepped into the mansion, her eyes widened in awe, but instead of being consumed by the luxury, she smiled humbly. David greeted her warmly, and Emily handed over a basket of food she had brought. I made this myself, she said shyly. I hope you'll enjoy it. As they chatted, Mama Adawal entered with a tray of tea. Emily immediately stood up, taking the tray from her hands. Ma'am, let me help you with that. You look tired? Emily said kindly. Mama Adawal looked at her, surprised but touched. Thank you, dear. That's very kind of you. Throughout the evening, Emily continued to treat Mama Adawal with respect and care. When Mama Adawal stumbled and spilled soup during dinner, Emily quickly jumped up to clean the mess, reassuring her. It's okay, ma'am. These things happen. David watched quietly, his admiration for Emily growing with every moment. On the final evening of Emily's visit, David decided it was time to reveal the truth. In the living room, he stood beside Mama Adawal, who was back in her elegant attire. Emily looked confused as she noticed the transformation. Emily, David began, this is my mother, Mama Adawal. She wasn't just a maid, she was part of a test to see how you would treat someone you thought had no power. Emily's eyes widened in shock. What? I don't understand. David smiled. We wanted to find someone who has a kind heart, someone who values people for who they are, not for what they have. And you, Emily, have shown us that you're truly special. Tears welled in Emily's eyes. I don't know what to say. Mama Adawal stepped forward, taking Emily's hands. You've already said everything through your actions, my dear. You are the kind of woman I've always hoped my son would marry. A month later, Emily and David were married in a grand ceremony. Emily wore a stunning wedding gown with African-inspired patterns, her natural beauty shining through. The guests marveled at the love and respect between the couple. Olivia and Clara, hearing of the wedding, were filled with regret. Olivia sat in her apartment watching the news coverage of the event, muttering, I should have been kinder. Clara, meanwhile, sat in silence, unable to mask her disappointment. David and Emily's love story became the talk of the town, a testament to the power of kindness and humility. Mama Adawal, now a proud mother-in-law, often said, in the end, it's not wealth or beauty that matters, but the goodness of the heart. David and Emily lived happily ever after, their mansion filled with laughter, love, and the unshakable bond of a family built on respect and compassion. Moral lessons of this story. 1. Kindness reveals true character. A person's true nature is shown by how they treat others, especially those they perceive as weaker or less powerful. 2. Humility triumphs over wealth. Beauty and wealth may attract attention, but only humility and respect can create lasting bonds. 3. Respect is universal. Treating everyone with dignity, regardless of their status, reflects a strong and noble heart. 4. Greed leads to regret. Actions driven by selfishness or greed often lead to missed opportunities and deep regret. Number 5. Love is rooted in actions. True love and loyalty are demonstrated through actions, not words or appearances. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this story and its powerful lessons. Your support truly means everything to me. If you enjoyed this video and believe in the values it teaches, I kindly ask you to subscribe to my channel and join this journey of sharing inspiring and meaningful stories. Your subscription helps me grow and allows me to continue creating content filled with lessons that touch the heart and soul. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and share this video with your friends and family. It makes all the difference. Stick around. More captivating and heartwarming stories are on the way, and I promise you won't want to miss them. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.